All right, and we're back. Obviously, you see Chipp on the screen. Doing a video with my boy Marv. Say what's up.
Yo, what up, everybody?
Just kind of a discussion about Chipp. Obviously, I think before season 3, he was top tier, right? But I think out of all the characters that were top tier, I think he's the character that actually fell the most, as we actually don't see him too high on the tier list nowadays, despite him being a character that kind of a little bit of everything. I guess I'll ask you the first question. I think this all dials down from the Rekka change, correct? I think that was the biggest thing that hurt him the most.
Oh, you're saying from season 2 to season 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, to piggyback off, yeah, in season 2, I would say that he was like in the upper echelon of characters. Like he was obviously like very, very strong.
Yeah.
But he wasn't as strong as like Happy Chaos was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Like he was strong, but he wasn't Happy Chaos strong in season. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, and he was like maybe a little underrated. And in season 3, you know, that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put in a lot of work. And I felt like I made so many improvements with the way that I played Chipp. The problem is that he was undoubtedly like nerfed from the last season. And I could go on a list and tell you like at least like 5 things that they did to make him like a lot worse.
Yeah.
So do you want me to just go off?
Yeah, go ahead.
On,
Yeah,
like,
go
the
ahead.
first
Go
one?
ahead. Well, yeah, what do you believe, like...
Number 1. Okay.
Yes.
6K nerf was bad because the thing is that you used to be able to just do like 5K, 2K, 6K, and the 6K was just so fast.
Yeah.
That because there was no visual indicator, like with 5D, you get the orange like indicator. You know, the 6K was just like such a like strong offensive tool for Chipp in the past that when they took it away, it was like you felt it. All the Chipps felt it. Universal. There was like a universal cry in season 3, like, oh god, no, not 6K. Because if you FD, like FD 5K, I'm at 5K 2K, right? So if you FD, right, you see how that like that could actually whiff.
Yeah.
You know, but if you FD'd 5K, 2K, you know, and I did 6K, that 6K would hit. You know what I'm saying? Because he moves forward. So big nerf, that really hurt. But you know, he got some additional changes that they tried to circumvent those nerfs with, like the Kara Rekkas, you know, which are pretty cool. But 6K previously was just so good.
Yeah. That
was the first major nerf. Second gigantic nerf is Rekka counter hits, right? This is like something like we bitch about. If I don't have meter with Chipp, I actually can't get anything. Like you could mash on that, and then it doesn't really like I don't have anything without meter to scare you away from like not really pressing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Where before it was like so much scarier for somebody to press against Chipp.
Yeah.
Because like if you pressed and you got counter hit, I would get a meterless combo. You know, I would get, oh shit, counter hit, okay, 2S, 2H, Alpha Blade, whatever.
Yeah.
Huge combo, you know?
Yeah.
And so
that hurt. I remember that change.
So that was a big nerf. But they nerfed that universally across the cast and a lot of the characters that had Rekkas like that. Soul got a big change with the way that Bandit Revolver worked. Ram, her Rekka got changed. Yeah, it was like a universal thing, but I think it kind of hurt Chipp pretty bad because he already, like, with Rekka, if you get hit by Rekka, like, he's minus, right? Where, like, Ram, when she hit you with her Rekka, she would get, like, a soft knockdown at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I
like,
hear you. Basically, what you're saying is the removal of the counter hit on Rekka 2 specifically. He's a lower health character, so it kind of helped into his like risk reward in a lot of ways, right? It kind of
absolutely
helped. So when they remove that, okay. But I will say the devs definitely with the patch throughout, you know, the season 3 change to the Chipp, it definitely was to remove the he's a ninja. He shouldn't be hitting you like that hard. Let's make him more of a mixed character. Right, and I'm gonna guess that's where you see the speed up from in the last Rekka 3, the overhead. Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah, they tried making him like more tricky with this because you couldn't do that before. You had to go into Rekka 1 into Rekka 3, or you couldn't just like do the Kara Rekkas. The thing with the Kara Rekkas is that they aren't quote unquote real.
Yeah.
You can't really. The thing with Chipp is, and this is like what kind of sucks, is that a lot of his offense is fuzzyable. Like, it's not like real mix. He kind of like excels at like mental stacking. Like if Soul does, it's kind of crazy, but if Soul does a Bandit Revolver RC, he actually gets better mix than Chipp would.
Yes.
Like if I do something like this, right? That whole sequence is fuzzyable. No matter if I do, you know, if I try to do. Once you kind of learn the fuzzy timing, I can't actually get high and lows on like close to the same frames.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that. So like despite him having like things like this, you know, like you could pretty much. There are people that are so good at blocking Kara Rekkas that I have to resort to strike throw. Like that's the realest mix that Chipp has is strike throw.
Which being a low health character is just not as good right now.
Yeah. Like the big problem with Chipp, and you know, ADHD brain is taking over and it's just spiraling out of control right now. But to get back on, we'll get back to that. But the big changes that they did, the like Rekka counter hit, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Another one is that like Chipp's quote unquote win con previously was like, you know, into wall break, into I'm gonna positive bonus you, and then I'm gonna win off of that.
Yeah.
Right. And yes, it was like super strong, but other characters had win cons that they didn't need to do that. Like Leo before, he would just back throw you, and then that was like his win con. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where like Chipp, yeah, like I could do positive bonus for a long time, but there were ways out of it. You could like YRC, you know, like, and eventually there was gonna be a gap for you to guess on. Because like if I'm gonna do Rekka 3, I have to be damn sure that you're not gonna press 6P.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like with Chipp, a lot of what I end up having to do is I have to like condition you to do the option that I want. So that I'm free to mix you up. Because like if I go for Rekka 3 and then you guess right, that could be like the round for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You could just take 60-70% off of me. It's the same with the whole Rekka mind game. Rekka is an RPS point, and once you block Rekka, you know, it gives you a chance to guess. And it was the same with the positive bonus loop. So positive bonus was completely nerfed because before I could get like 3-4 iterations of just like, you know, putting you in block stun and building your wrist. But now because positive bonus doesn't last as long, I get like maybe two loops before positive bonus runs out, and I'm no longer able to like mix you up. So I get like one chance to open you up from that, which is like a gigantic nerf actually, because last season he could just kind of loop you in the post wall break situation for a very long time, and now he can't. And that's a nerf. And I think it affected him more than it did other characters because he was like one of the ones that took full advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess this kind of ties into what I wanted to talk to you about next. Like, do you think with the changes obviously to the system, which, I mean, to be fair, I do believe now Chipp is considered a lower damage character. So obviously last patch, there was times where Chipp was kind of healing you. Do you believe to obviously the removal of DPRC, the removal of how much burst you gain on wall splat or wall break, and the removal of hard knockdown wild assault, do you think he's stronger now than he was last patch, or?
I think he's about the same. I think some matchups got better for him, like particularly like the heavies, like Gold Lewis and Pot. You know, those matchups got better, but it also made some matchups harder because now that, you know, like I can't just wild assault and force, you know, like my post wall break situation on you, which is like one of the strengths that Chipp had, is that, you know, his post wall break was pretty good because like if I did post wall break, I could cross you up or I could do like a mix, and that's something unique that Chipp had. Chipp had pretty good post wall break. He had like a lot of options. I could alpha blade, I could 5D, I could throw you, I could do a ton of stuff, right? And because I'm doing that less, it affects him in some matchups where like I really lost neutral, right? In the matchups where Chipp loses neutral, that hurt him. Where like, for example, Happy Chaos, right? Happy Chaos beats Chipp in the neutral game. I have heard all sorts of crap from people saying, "Oh no, Chipp fucking beats Happy Chaos 6.5, 3.5." Like, I don't know what the fuck they're smoking when they have one button that completely invalidates like nearly my entire toolkit.
Yeah.
You know, and they get more reward off of their K normals because it evolves into like a K normal battle.
Yeah.
But if I hit them, what do I get? I get this. Okay. Yeah. If they hit me, they get wall break.
Wall break, plus it's Happy Chaos, so he's going to build 50 into GG's.
Right. Into disjointed, their 2S smokes me because if I'm at this range where I have to watch out for the 2K, guess what? I'm walking back because I'm trying to get a whiff to happen, and I get smoked by 2S. Yep. And even if I block it, they get 2S gunshot into whatever mix they want.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know how the fuck they think that Chipp beats him, but it just the data doesn't really represent that. There's not like, you don't see fucking Chipp smoking Happy Chaoses left and right.
No.
And that was the last patch. Now this patch, it's even worse because now if I wall break you, you know, I can't just win the game. Mm-hmm. Now it resets neutral, and then what happens? Happy Chaos is likely to win neutral again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it affects Chipp in some matchups. I think he's about the same or very, very slightly worse. Like very slightly worse. But he's about the same.
What about What about the DPRC change to Chipp?
DPRC change definitely hurts him too.
Yeah.
It hurts him in other matchups. Like Ram, for example, like in the corner, you know, sometimes you gotta just like DPRC when there's a gap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To at least like get out safely. It affects him because like I don't have the health to gamble like other characters. Like Leo could DP, and if you block it, okay, it's not the end of the world. He might get another chance.
Yeah.
If I DP and you block it, it's over.
Yeah.
It's next round. Mm-hmm. So the risk reward on DPRC being kind of removed affects Chipp harder in some ways. You know what I'm saying? Because like he doesn't have health to gamble. So like if I DP, I have to be right. If I'm wrong, Chipp gets fucking punished. The thing with Chipp is like any mistake you make, you know, is just like 3 times as punishing as it is for like other characters.
Yes.
And I think you understand too because you play Zato, and it's the same concept with Zato.
Yeah.
Right? Zato got no guts. If you make a mistake in the corner, you whip a grab in the corner.
GG's.
Okay, GG's. Next round.
GG's.
You fucked up. I guess that's skill issue, right?
No, I guess this actually sets up my next question perfectly. I think this is something that is heavily debated between characters like Chipp, characters like Milia. Do you consider Chipp a hard character? Like one of the more difficult characters in this game? Or are there like other opinions true where he might be easier? Where do you rank Chipp on that scale of difficulty?
I think he's one of the harder characters in the game. The thing is that like it depends what you're talking about. Okay. Because like on an executional level, he's not the hardest, right? But he's definitely nowhere. He's not even an average difficulty. He's harder than that because he has a lot of combos. Like if I'm gonna just hit you really quick, he has a lot of combos where you have to like micro dash forward like that. Yeah. You have to do a lot of on the fly adjustments, and you have to like know the character really well in order to like convert. It's not like other characters where like, you know, it's the same combo no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
He has a lot of on the fly adjustments to like a lot of his combos, and that increases his execution. Mm-hmm. Okay. Not to mention, he has things like, you know, like this. That's actually pretty difficult to execute for somebody that has never like learned the timing or whatever. Like the FD cross up is pretty difficult to execute as far as like the micro dashes that you have to do like I did right there.
Yeah.
So on just an execution level, he's like a little bit above average, but like not crazy. Like if you don't even want to do that, like his basics stuff isn't that hard, right? Generally, he's just like Alpha Blade into Rekka Rekka. Yeah. Maybe the Kara Rekka Super might be a little tricky for some people, but he's not like as easy as like Kai, for example.
Yeah.
But he's not like Happy Chaos execution difficulty.
Okay.
Now,
gotcha.
Now that's execution. What makes him hard is that his game plan is very, very variant depending on who you're fighting. Yeah. In a way, there's a lot of characters where like, let's just talk about Happy Chaos in comparison. Yeah. Happy Chaos, his execution is hard, but his strategy in neutral and his strategy on offense is pretty much one-dimensional or somewhat linear.
Hard agree with that. Yes.
You played him, right? So like, if it's all about you get the hit, you get the 2K, shot, roll, whatever,
loop or
focus.
Yeah.
And it was a lot worse before, but he has like somewhat of an interactive like neutral. I mean, Umisho said herself like one of the reasons she swapped to Soul is because she felt Happy Chaos was just so one-dimensional, and with Soul she has to like learn all these different matchups and learn how her buttons interact, and she actually has to interact with her opponent.
Yeah,
you know, it's the same with Chipp. I actually can't get like gapless roll mix on you that you have to like, you know, that there's not really much of a risk in doing. Everything Chipp does, there's like a gigantic amount of inherent risk to it, and I'm interacting with you. Right?
Yeah.
So what makes him hard is that every matchup has like specific neutral interactions that you have to know, like fully know. Yeah. And if you don't know, you're just gonna get smoked because you don't have the health to trade. You have very, very low health. So every mistake you make is just like extremely punishing. More so than other characters. Like, oh shit. Like this character, like let's say Asuka, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how to interact with the cube, so I'm just gonna try this. Oh, I got counter hit. I just took 80%.
Yeah,
that's kind of like what happens. Like if you don't know the specific matchup strategy, you're just gonna get smoked. That's number one. Number two, even if you know the specific matchup strategy, let's say I tried the DP and then I got 2S or something, and I got counter hit, I just took 70%. You know what I mean? So every mistake you make as Chipp, if I thought, you know, I thought he was just gonna sit there, so I'm gonna go for the throw, and then you jump it. Every little tiny mistake you make is just extremely punishing, and as a result, it makes him much harder than a lot of characters because he just doesn't have the health. He doesn't have health. You're not allowed to make mistakes. You can't really like, you know, you have to be precise.
Yeah.
You have to be very, you have to finesse people in a way. It's kind of just like Milia. It's a lot with like the low health characters. You have to like know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, same with Zato. Zato, you have to know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, you're not affording to make mistakes. The only difference with Zato is like, once you get like a knockdown or whatever, then it's like, okay, I'm going to put you in gapless fucking high-low mix, and I'm going to run the, you know, this script, and you can't even burst and you can't whatever. But at the end of the day, in neutral, if you throw a 2S or something when you maybe shouldn't have, you're gonna get punished and you're gonna die for it. That's the game, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what makes him hard. So I think he's like definitely in the top rankings of difficulty, and that's why you don't see him so consistently in tournaments. There are people that are like, "Oh, Chipp is so broken," and they pick him up, and then they start getting clapped, and then they immediately drop him. Because they're like, I don't like how he plays.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's you know, he's just not for me. You know, I guess he's really good though. But, you know, I don't know. Something about him is just really, you know, it's just like, okay, I understand what you mean, but it's because he requires a lot of homework.
Yeah.
You know, that's my opinion.
Yeah, of course.
That's my opinion. You know?
I guess one thing I wanted to ask you is whether you agree with this or not. So, I forgot who I heard it from, but someone mentioned that like the addition of Wild Assault, it hurts the characters a lot that want to play, you know, these stay back K button footsies with you, like Geo, Milia, maybe not Milia, but Chipp, Geo, maybe some other characters, because before you weren't getting punished as enough, like you weren't getting punished like as much as you are now, because now button Wild Assault, you're now going through the wall most likely, depending on who the character is, right? So how much does the addition of Wild Assault, especially like I mean like let's like Kai, for example, right? You know, you're playing as Chipp / Wild Assault, or you know, another character could do 2K 2D on Chipp in the Wild Assault, or you know, any 5K Wild Assault, right? So how much does that hurt Chipp's neutral? In your opinion?
I think it made a lot of matchups a lot harder. That's another thing. We didn't even go over all the nerfs, right? Because, for example, JH got nerfed.
Yeah.
So JH used to be a lot harder to anti-air, where like, if you were doing like a regular like button, like a 5P or something, you would get smoked by the JH,
Yeah.
right? You had to 6P this before,
Yeah.
right? Now he could be anti-aired like so much easier. I mean, he's like one of the easier characters to anti-air in a lot of ways. So that hurt him. His 5P is worse. His 5P, there's like certain situations where I would use 5P and it would counter hit. Where like now I'm getting smoked. You trying to use it, because they adjusted the
it's like Zato's now, like the
yeah they nerfed that. And those are like a more additional nerfs. And I know that they changed something else, but I can't remember. But those are like the big ones. Those are like big ones. But to get back to your point, now that other characters got a lot of positive changes, you know, like for example, Kai is much harder because Kai's weakness was that his block strings were ass. So like if he did 2S into 5H, I could dash block in, and if he did, and the only thing he could really do is Diaraclop, Fireball, or Fudra Arc, right? Now, because of Wild Assault, he could do 2S, 5H, Wild Assault, close slash, dash up grab, or close slash, dash up, far slash, or close
frame
slash.
trap 6H,
Yeah, and what makes that really bad is that Kai's far slash is active more than other bar slashes in the game, and because Chipp has a really good backdash, you actually can't backdash Kai ever. He'll catch you. He gets a full combo, and it just claps him. So a lot of characters got buffed from the mechanic changes. Anji, I mean, we could talk about Gold Lewis and Pot. You know, even though they got slight nerfs recently, but in for most of season 3, those were characters that had no chance against Chipp, zero chance. And then they made it so like, damn, is this matchup bad? Question mark. I don't know. You know, like Gold Lewis is kind of fucking. I can't keep him out anymore. You know, so it's kind of like what you're saying is that Wild Assault made it where Chipp now like has to deal with that mix. He has to deal with like this insane offense where if he's just wrong, he's gonna die because he doesn't have the health. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear him.
It didn't favor him for sure. It hurt him, but you know, if you're good, you could overcome anything. Chipp has like really good movement, so at the end of the day, he's never gonna be like bad. But all these changes kind of adding up definitely affected him. He's definitely worse in season 3 than he was in season 2. There's no doubt about it. How much worse? I don't know. But other characters got better, so that's why I think it eventually kind of put Chipp in the middle of the pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not broken, but also not like the worst character in the game, but also absurdly hard to do well with in tournament. You know?
Yeah, of course.
So
I guess that kind of leads to my next question. I was gonna ask. So you kind of placed them in that bubble with like all the other characters, kind of in the middle of the pack, like you said. So I'm gonna assume off that you don't believe Chipp is strong enough to win solo.
I think like it's this game,
especially
this is my opinion, and this is my opinion coming from like a very long time of competing in fighting games, winning tournaments in different games, etc. My whole thing is that I think Chipp is good, but any character that isn't like top tier in this game is just gonna make it harder for you to be consistent with. You could, like, let's look at Walter, right? Walter plays Milia. He's like one of the best Milias in the world. Right? He won a TNS once, right? But he's been getting top 8s and everything like that. But it's extremely hard for somebody that isn't playing like a Leo, you know, a Happy Chaos or whatever, pick your top tier character. To win tournaments with, it's like gonna be very difficult to do it consistently with a character that isn't quote unquote top tier. You know, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot by not, you know, like for like Chipp, right? In this game, matchups are pretty volatile. Like, good luck beating I don't know, like who does fucking Zato lose to? Like bad, right?
To pick your character, man.
Yeah, Chipp. Yeah, good luck beating a really strong Chipp consistently. Good luck. Chipp kind of fucking runs over him, you know, or Soul or whatever. Pick whoever you want.
Leo, Bridget, pick your poison.
It's hard. It's like can I beat a Happy Chaos or can I beat a Kai? Yeah, probably. But can I do it consistently? I don't know, man. That's why you see people picking up Slayer, like myself, that haven't been playing Slayer long and that are just winning tournaments left and right.
Yeah.
You know? Now, is it because they're just, damn, I got so fucking good this fast? Or is it that the character selection matters a lot? You know?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, a character like Chipp loses to a ton of characters, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he loses to Kai, he loses to Mei, you know?
Yeah.
He loses, in my opinion, he loses to Happy Chaos. The list goes on. And those are all characters you're going to fight in tournament often,
Yeah.
you know?
I hear you. Yeah, he loses to the popular tournament characters. And I guess this kind of, let me ask you, do you think, or okay, off the matches you've played this patch, are there any, I know you said like Gold Lewis might be easier, probably Pot as well, like the heavies maybe, but what characters have you fought where you're like, okay, this, you know, this does feel better than before, like this feels way more doable than before? And then what matchups have you played outside of Happy Chaos where it's like, or Happy Chaos and Kai where it's like, ooh, nah, this don't, why does this feel worse?
I'm not exactly sure. I haven't played too much against Leo. Leo might be a little easier, perhaps, but I'm not entirely sure. Most of the characters feel about the same. The only thing I really notice is that some feel worse because Chipp really didn't get changed much, and he got a lot of stuff removed.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say who's like, you know, maybe Soul could be easier.
Yeah.
Maybe, you
Matchups
know,
got easier, but not like turning, like moving mountains, right? Like,
no, yeah, exactly. Okay. It's not gonna be like it's and yeah, the only ones that I could for sure say got slightly easier are like the heavies, like Pot, you know, the White Wild Assault abusers.
Yeah.
Because like Gold Lewis, I mean, when he had meter, I was afraid. I had to play around it fully. But now he can't really use that, and then now that he can't really use it as often, because if he does it and I block it, I could 5p punish him.
Yeah.
You know? Which is unique, right, to Chipp. Chipp, not a lot, because I think White Wild Assault now on uncharged is -3.
Yeah.
So he gets a 5p punish on it.
Okay.
So those are easier, but a lot got harder. I could tell you for off rip, a lot of matchups feel harder.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so it kind of puts him in about the same spot.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't like any crazy buffs that he got. I think he's about the same.
Okay.
You know.
Let me ask you. So obviously we have the upcoming patch coming up in October. I believe. What realistically do you want? Maybe not specific changes, but what areas do you think you want like them to change about Chipp? And then obviously he's one of the characters that are getting a new move, so I know like all the other people that play characters that are getting new moves, the Nago players, the Leo players, you've been brainstorming your ideas here and there about what it could be and what you want. I know I saw something on Twitter a while ago about what you wanted, but now that we're here, what do you hope that new move could be?
I want him to get a move that could deal with low profile 2Ks like like, because that's like his big weakness. Like if you even like a 5p or a 2p, like I mean you're playing Zato, so I'm gonna fucking probably counter hit you. But if you mash 2p, right?
Yeah.
If you mash 2p, yeah, like you're gonna counter hit him very often. Yeah, because Chipp's hurt box extends really deep into his far slash. So like if you just kind of throw that button out, you know, you'll counter hit him. And it's kind of the same in a lot of matchups against his 5H. His 5H is his only disjoint. Yeah. So like if you are playing Chaos or you're playing Axel or you're playing any character that has like a really strong 2K, Jacko, Testament, they go under his 5H also. Yeah. Which makes it so like in order to beat the 2K, I have to dash 2K, right? And counter hit you for doing it. But then that presents another problem because then they start buffering 2K and backdashing.
Yeah.
And then if I went for it, right, and then you backdash, then I'm in the prime position to get hit by like a 2S or something.
Yeah.
So having something that I could use to, you know, help me against the 2Ks would probably be cool. But ideally, I said like what they should probably do is something similar like they did with Geo.
Geo, yeah.
Where like Geo gets like an enhanced, you know, she has like a move that lets her charge up her next special move.
Yeah.
And I think that would be cool for them to add to Chipp, where like maybe he does some ninja shit. It's like a charge, like maybe like 2 seconds or something in the air or whatever. And then it makes the next move that he does enhance. So it'll give him Rekka counter hit back. It'll make his command grab maybe faster. You know, it'll make Alpha Blade faster, whatever. Or maybe make it so that I could combo from Alpha Blade.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
Something like that would be pretty neat. And give him a little bit more reward on his, you know, quote unquote mix ups. That or giving him some sort of real mix. Because, you know, like something I noticed with Slayer is like, when I'm playing Slayer and I'm like on top of you and I hit you with like a close slash, or I hit you with a Master's Hammer, I feel like, holy shit, I could enforce real mix on you.
Yeah.
I could command grab you, I could 2K, I could close, whatever, and you have to guess. Oh, if I get a dandy, oh shit, high-low.
Yeah.
That's fucking real. He has 2 options that basically hit on the same frame, you know? So, I want something like that for Chipp. Chipp doesn't have something like that. Everything I have to kind of trick you into getting hit by, you know?
Okay.
I hit you low, low, low a lot, and then I go for the grab. Or I condition you with a lot of Rekkas over and over again, you know, something like that. And then now I could do the Rekka 3 and then maybe open you up to that. So giving him some sort of real mix would be cool. But yeah, like dream level new move is like they enhance the moves like Geo.
Okay.
You know, that's dream. That's the dream.
Yeah. I think that's the dream for a lot of characters as well.
That was the OD.
I guess one of the last questions I want to ask you. So overall, what do you think is one thing people should be doing more about Chipp? Like what? Like first Chipp fighting. What is something that you're like, okay, like why are you like holding this or why are you not doing this? What is one thing people should be doing more to get the character out the way? And yeah, so I guess something just people misunderstand about him.
So basically, Chipp is like there's a fine line between being too passive and being too like mashy against him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have to find the delicate balance and you have to understand how to beat the specific options in his repertoire and understand that like if you are right just once against him, you'll win. Because I feel like most people fall into the common trap of just like on defense never doing anything, right? And then I'm just like, oh, he's not doing it, I'm gonna grab him, you know? And then just like continuously kind of restarting pressure, you know, and then eventually you're gonna get hit, you know? So what I'll tell to those people that are overly passive is you have to press against him.
Yeah. So
learning when to press, when to RPS is like fundamentally like really important.
Yeah.
So like knowing when to 6P, like if I do Rekka 1, you should be 6Ping sometimes after that. Because if I do Rekka 1 into, you get that into RC, you could win off of that. And also if I do bar slash, right? You should maybe buffer 6P because if I do a delayed bar slash, right? You could 6P that, right? Just like that. But if I do also bar slash into Rekka, you'll 6P him. So knowing when to 6P against Chipp is fundamentally really, really important. And understanding that if I'm doing 5K pressure, fuzzy jumping is probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah.
So learning how to like do delayed fuzzy techs, it's better in those situations because a lot of people like they're like, I don't know what to do against 5K, and I'm like, stop jumping. You're literally just like getting hit every single time I'm close to you because you can't stop yourself from like fuzzy jumping. So what you want to do is you want to FD, especially if you see a stand 5K. You want to sometimes just like try to stand FD, go from stand FD to low FD after the first 5K, you know? Yeah. Because what it does, and I don't know if you want to reset the get meter, but if I'm here and I do this string, right? And if you stand FD the 5K, right, into low, right? Do that for me. FD the 5K.
Oh, FD.
Yeah. So like if you FD the 5K, I could get the 2D to width. Right? But you have to stand FD the 5K.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So if you stand FD,
Yeah,
See that?
There we go. Yeah.
And then what ends up happening is that the 2D whiffs, and then that's when you get to, you know, the class. That's the Jack special. Players like Jack are extremely good at knowing how to FD.
Yeah.
You know, how to cause your buttons to whiff. So like, if my 2D, that's why I lost against him at Evo, is that I didn't adjust to him FDing the, you know, my 5Ks like that. Because then the 2D whiffs, he did dash up 2S, whiff punish.
GG's.
I just took 60, 70% when I was on the offense.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was either go straight into 2D or do go straight into Rekka like this. So knowing how to FD, knowing when you want a fuzzy tech versus fuzzy jump, you want to fuzzy jump his close flash pressure, you know?
Yep.
And you want a fuzzy tech 5K pressure, right?
Yeah.
And then, so I talked about knowing when to RPS. The other thing is people sometimes are too mashy against him.
Yeah.
So like, so like you gotta, it's a balance. You can't always press because if you're just pressing so much, I'm gonna just like Rekka to you and you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna, you know, whiff punish you and you're gonna die. So if you are going to press, right, don't always press. And if you are going to press, you need to press something with value, right? A lot of people make the mistake of pressing like a 2P or something. So if I do like close slash this into this, you do a 2P, right? And what happens, right? Do it for me. Oh, maybe he thought it was fucking privileged. Damn, he gets hit from far. Okay, so like whatever. But my point is that your P and K normals likely won't touch Chipp. Yeah. And then what ends up happening is I see a whiff. Oh, you're back into pressure.
Gotcha.
So when you do press against Rekka 1, you want to press something fat. You want to press a 2S. You want to press a far slash. You want to press.
You want to commit to it.
You need to commit. And if you're right on your commitment, he's gonna take a lot of damage. Gotcha. So knowing when to commit so that you force the Chipp to go into Rekka 2, because Rekka 2, if you block Rekka 2, you could either punish. I think Zato gets a 2P. Or yeah. You get a punish. You know?
Oh wait,
maybe 5P? Maybe he used to at least. Did they nerf? Yeah. God damn, Zato sucks. Jesus Christ. Damn, they fucked that up. Okay, he used to get like 2P RC.
Yeah,
I know that.
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so like, yeah, so then the P normal punish, or punishing or taking your turn back after Rekka 2 is really important. But forcing him to do Rekka 2, because that's the only way I could stop you from pressing after Rekka 1. Okay. So that's a big thing. And then the last thing I'll give you, which is I'm sharing a lot of tech to help y'all. Because there's a lot of people that don't know what the fuck is going on. And then they start posting on Twitter, Chipp is so broken. Fucking this character's so cheap. But they don't like stop mashing. And then they let me get away with like Gamma Blades like crazy. Once they're like, either they're too mashing or they're too passive. So I just keep doing Gamma Blade, you know?
Yeah.
So one thing is like you could actually react to Gamma Blade and get a full punish on reaction. So what a lot of people don't understand is that against Gamma Blade, if you react with like, for example, your 2P, you could RC punish that. So if you see the Gamma Blade coming, do 2P RC, right?
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, with Chipp, I do 5P. RC forward into close slash into whatever I want. So a lot of people don't do that. Do it a little early, and then do forward RC. Oh. There you go. See? Oh my God! You never see that. You never see anybody doing that against Chipp. Very rarely. I'm like the only Chipp that does it against even other Chipps. And they're like, whoa, you could do that? I guess I'm the only one that fucking laughs. You know? Like, damn. So, yeah, so I'm just kidding. But seriously, that'll really help you against Chipp, is knowing how to deal with Gamma Blade, knowing when to press, and yeah, you know. Okay. Obviously, you know, I went from in season 2 being like, this character could do it all. I could win with him, you know? To being like a little bit jaded in this season. You can't blame me, guys. Wild Assault is just so cheap.
So broken.
It's so broken. It just has pissed me off. It pissed me off. All right. So, so yeah, that'll really help against Chipp. But yeah.
Okay. And then last thing I'll ask you. So, to anyone new looking to pick up the character, what are some advice you'd give them to start off that you wish maybe you learned earlier on?
So, one thing that's really, really good with Chipp is just understanding that even though I'm talking all this shit, you could really win. You could beat anybody with Chipp if you're good enough.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't matter. Like, he is so fast. He has answers for everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Knowing how to beat all of those things is like really important. So like, if you're, first of all, big thing that you want to learn immediately is like obviously your combos and just like your meaty setups. Yeah. Okay. He gets meaties off of everything. But knowing how to do this, fundamentally very, very important. Okay. Knowing how to do the 50-50 mix, knowing how to convert off of like all your random hits like this, right? Really, really important. And just generally understanding that for the most part, Chipp isn't a preemptive character. You could be preemptive, but for the most part, you want to operate on like your character's recovery. So like you want to stay on the ground, right? If you see somebody running at you, if I'm walking back like this and I see somebody dash forward, that's when the 5H comes out. You know, because it's a disjoint. If you dash up at me and try to hit a button, what's gonna happen? You're gonna get counter hit, and I'm gonna fucking get a full combo. So if somebody dashes up at you, use 5H. If you notice somebody keeps walking back in neutral and they're standing, dash 2D until your 50-50 mix. If you notice somebody is pressing on you a lot, it's just Chipp is all about identifying what your opponent is doing and countering it. If you notice that they press a lot, get start getting the Rekkas out. You know, if you notice that they're not pressing at all, that's when the Gamma Blades come out, like this. Get the Gamma Blades out and then start throwing them. You know, force them to press. You know, because if they don't press against Gamma Blades, you know, they block a Gamma Blade, I get to get a dash up throw. You know?
Yeah.
So, knowing what your opponent is doing is really, really important. And then when you have bar, you know, be ready to either go into Rekka 3, or if they get hit by a Rekka 2, so if you stand for me, right? And you learning how to do this, Kara the super, off of a one hit, off the Rekka 2. Once you see the Rekka 2, you have a lot of time to convert it into Rekka super. So like, when I'm doing this, if I see you get hit, I'm already buffering it, and I go straight into super as soon as you get hit. Right? Really, really important to learn as Chipp, because like I said, the post wall break situation for Chipp is really, really good.
Really good, yeah.
So learning how to do that, learning when to use all of his tools, and most importantly, learning how to use his K normal. So if I'm at this range and I see somebody throw like a K normal out, right?
Oh, okay.
That's when I do dash 2K, right? Just like that. If I see somebody throw a K normal, dash 2K comes out.
Gotcha.
Okay. If I see somebody throw a bigger commitment normal, like a 2S or something, either far slash comes out or dash 5K comes out. Okay. So like if you throw like a 5H from that range, dash 5K is probably gonna be the best thing to do. Something where like if I'm not in the range to actually get like a real whip punish, what I do is I just dash in deep with 5K, and if you throw a button out after the 5H, right? Most of the time, you know, I'll counter hit you. And then if you backdash, right? The 5H also, or the 5K also catches you. So the really important thing with Chipp is learning when you have to use all of his tools. He has tools for everything. Remember, 2D, stops people from walking back. 5H stops people from running up at you. 5K is for when you see somebody with big commitment normals. You want a 5K or you want a far slash. And then 2K if you see them with a K normal in front of you. You know, you do dash 2K. Knowing when to use all of his options, super fundamentally important. I hope that helps. His alpha blades are good to bait reversals against reversal characters, you know, on the wake up, knowing how to use that. And yeah, that's about it. Everything else is just a lot of experience and learning how to beat all the characters on an individual level, you know?
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I believe that's everything. I will put Marvelo's, I know he streams his TNS runs and sometimes just practice streams for prepping for tournaments. I'll put his Twitch on the stream.
Appreciate
it, brother. I'll put his YouTube. I believe, his YouTube. He just dropped his Evo trip. He documented some of it, especially his matches.
Tried something different. We tried something different.
Where he got 9th with solo Chipp. So make sure to go check that out. And then obviously I'll put his Discord on the screen as well in case you have any Chipp questions or want to get in contact with him and ask him some questions. He's a very cool guy, very laid back. I'm sure he'll respond to everyone. So thanks for coming on, Marv, and that's gonna do it.
Good luck to everybody out there picking up Chipp.